Yo, what up? It's AaroniMoses. This video's this video's called Confidence Booster. Now, for you guys who know, I'm writing a Christian book for one of my clients. It's an autobiography. Well, it's a biography, and parts of it he wants me to write little pieces, little sermons. So basically, in one of the mini sermons that I wrote for him, it was talking about how if you don't think you're worthy to work for God, you need to remember where you come from. All right. So all this negative self-talk talking about you can't get a girl or you can't get this job, you can't do this. You on a scientific tip, you're here because somebody. Nah, I'm not drinking. I haven't drank, and the last time I had a drink was on the 6th or the 7th. So shout out to me. But you are here because people came together because they saw the potential in that other person to make something great, and they wanted to duplicate that, they wanted to replicate that, and put that back into the world. And even if you were made from lust, you know what I'm saying? Even if your parents were supposed to be one night stands, a woman is not going to have sex with a man unless she feels comfortable consciously, I mean subconsciously, even on a genetic level, something that women don't sit down and think about. You met this chick in the club and you're about to take her home and smash. She's not gonna think, you know what, if he busts a nut in me, I don't know. He's kind of weird. They don't think that's not the thought that crosses their mind. But on a genetic level, on a subconscious, unconscious level, a woman will not have sex with you if she does not feel comfortable with putting what you have back into the world. All right. So you have to think your greats vibed enough, they were comfortable with putting something similar, exactly the same, back into the world. And eventually you came. You have to look inside yourself to harness what those traits were. I watched a video by Cali Muscle yesterday. He was talking about his gum fucking anagram. I think it's called when you break down words into small like sayings. So his gum theory was G for genetics, U for understanding, M for money. If you want to do anything, if you want to be successful, and it is definitely dependent on your genetics, what you do. Now there are sciences where you can alter your genetics and highlight certain things. I don't really want to go into that, but you know me, I don't have the genetics of a fucking bodybuilder. I have more of a runner's body. I have more of a basketball player's body. I have the fucking wingspan of somebody that is 6'1". My feet are bigger than people that are fucking 3 inches taller than me, and the rest of my body is fucking proportioned, basically. But you have to realize all this confidence. There's something inside you that you can that you can trade to somebody or give to somebody because that is what you're made from. You're made from the belief or the know or the understanding that you are made out of beautiful, awesome fucking parts. All right. So whatever you want to do, you can do it because somebody knew that it would be somebody like you that needs to be here, that needs to help fucking people, that needs to contribute in whatever the fuck way that they saw. A woman is not going to fucking make babies with somebody unless they know that this man is going to pass on his traits that are gonna fucking make more of him, make more of the him that she's passing on, grandkids. Fuck it, you know. On a scientific tip, even if you think you have something undesirable, all these strange fucking animals, all these weird people come from the times changing. I'm talking about that right now. They come from the times changing, the generations and the centuries going past where, yes, some traits were weeded out. I live in Oklahoma. Out here, it's a lot of Native Americans. Shout out to all my Native Americans. Shout out to all my Choctaws and Blackfoot. One of my great grandparents was like Choctaw, I believe. I don't know what I don't know who that was exactly. But a lot of them are tall, big ass people. And eventually, everybody's getting down on themselves because they're not tall, they're not this, they're not that. Eventually, that trait is going to be undesirable. Think about how the bird came to be. The bird came to be because there were big ass dinosaurs that needed to get to food at the top of the mountain. The big dinosaurs couldn't get to the food because they would fucking fall backwards, die. The only dinosaurs that could get to this top of the mountain were the little dinosaurs. So now they were in control. They were the ones that were getting the freshest fruit closest to the sun with certain amounts of, different chemicals in the air and shit like that. And eventually being small was the thing to be. Just like fucking centuries ago, being a fucking a big fat woman was desirable because that meant that you had money, that meant that you had people working for you, and fast forward to the 90s, fucking 75% of people are fucking gay because they like these little stick figure ass females with the bodies of fucking 12-year-old boys with big titties, excuse me, with the exception of the big titties. But things change. So eventually, whatever the case is, I mean, whatever fucking trait that you have, just get the opposite. All these people you see, they walk around in this fucking. It's funny. It's kind of romantic, in one way. You see somebody that. If you see a dude, if you see a dude walking around with a woman that has the exact opposite traits as him. Gaia, come here. This man has eyes that are fucking close as fuck. Kick it down now. And you see the woman has eyes that are fucking like fish on each side of off of her face, you know. But the whole thing is, I was watching a Bobby Hemmett video, which actually inspired this video. He was talking about how he was talking about ancestry worship, which is very common in, I believe, West Africa, ancestry worship. And he was saying that when he approaches his ancestors, I don't know his actual spiritual background or his personal beliefs, but he was talking about when he goes to his ancestors, he treats them as equals because when their ancestors die, they go back inside of you. A little pieces of them go inside of you. And when you look for things, when you look for answers, when you have questions, you really need to ask yourself. Like, you really need to go to the deepest parts of yourself that you have never tapped into before. Any answer that you have, any question that you have is inside of you. It's really, it's like a quantum physics type thing because it's like you really don't know. There's nothing that you really don't know in this world. I'm not talking about science. I'm not talking about the fucking reality. Not reality. The theory of relativity. I'm not talking about shit like that. I'm talking about psychology. I'm talking about business. More so relating to people and all these questions that you guys are asking me right now. I'm getting a lot of questions right now, and honestly, I'm losing interest in what I'm saying. So I'm just gonna answer these questions real quick. All right, drinking, still smoking reefer. As far as smoking reefer, marijuana is illegal in Oklahoma. So yeah, how do you set yourself up to win? Set yourself up to win. I was actually gonna make a video about this earlier. Setting yourself up to win is basically what that means is programming your environment. Knowing that there's a guy you guys need to watch this guy. Write this fucking name down. Fucking I don't even give a fuck if you get out of this live chat right now, this fucking live stream right now, and go watch him. But his name is Aaron Doty. Doug, just like Dough, Doty. He honestly, he's one of my favorite YouTubers. I just found out about him like no more than 2 weeks ago. But basically, what he talks about is the perception of self. He talks about Sigmund Freud's theory on the ego a lot, like mostly. He talks about alternate universes and alternate realities, existences, and how you can use them to manifest what you want and to be the person that you want. So basically, what you have to do is you have to put yourself in that person's reality and then take what you can. Julian Blanc from RSD Nation calls it borrowing abundance from the future. What you do is, I know you guys have heard of dream boards, but what you do is you basically set your environment up so you don't have any other options but to do what you want to do and be who you want to be in the future right now. If you look at my studio, see I got some shitty ass tape, but I was trying to set my studio up with hustle and blow posters, some pictures of different rappers that I find to be inspirational. But basically, set yourself up to win. If you want to stop smoking, you fucking if you want to stop smoking today, well, I mean, there's hella different ways to set yourself up to win. But setting yourself up to win is prepping, is preparing yourself, is programming your environment. If you want to stop fucking drinking, stop hanging out with people that drink. Stop hanging out at the bar. Sometimes you don't have to go where everybody knows your fucking name. You know what I mean? Just if you just set your environment up, prepare your environment in a way, or your body in a way where your old habits and your old patterns are unacceptable. Study cognitive behavioral therapy. Just type in CBT psychology. You know, there's a lot of different ways to set yourself up to win. All right. This motherfucking shit. Let's see. All right. All right. What if you're just an ugly ass nigga and women don't want you? If you don't look like a fucking subhuman species, if you look fucking human, if you look like a human, there is a woman that you consider to be a 10 that will beg you to have her children. I'll put my life on that. I'll put my life on that. If your ideal woman is Beyonce, just know that a woman that looks exactly like Beyonce will beg you to have her children. Alright? Or beg you to fucking bust nuts in her on purpose. So, getting women isn't rocket science, guys. Focusing on bettering yourself and the herd will fly. Focusing on. Exactly. I was having this discussion with one of my cousins, and what I told him was that if you're a real man, basically, if you're a straight man or a bisexual and you want a woman, all you do is basically everything that a man does, a real man in your perception will attract the woman that you want. So all you have to do is, I mean, people say this whole be yourself thing. Don't be yourself. Be the man that you perceive that women want. Be the man that do your life, do you. Like, if you think that men wake up at 6:30 in the morning and watch fucking yoga videos and do yoga to them, whatever you think a man is, plus what in reality what a man is what's gonna happen, and you're gonna get that woman that you want. So, how do you better yourself when you got mad anxiety? Put yourself in situations. Well, I mean, if you're bettering yourself, your anxiety is only gonna get better. Better yourself in your diet. Better yourself in the company that you keep. Better yourself in the better yourself in ways that give you confidence. Everybody's always gonna have anxiety about socializing, so that's never gonna fucking go away. Everybody has some form of social anxiety. Like the most confident person that you can think of, they can only handle so much fucking pressure. They can only handle so much attention and so much of whatever emotion, whether that's positive or negative, it's always gonna be there. I got a question for you. Fucking selling drugs videos. How do I go about how, how do I go about people selling drugs for me? Like, how much should I pay them? How much time should I give them to sell this stuff? Any tips? Of course, I mean, selling drugs is a buy low, sell high industry. It's a service. It's both product and service. So, uh, how do you go about getting? Let me look at the question. Handling people. How much did you pay them? You should pay them as little as you can afford to pay them, and as little as they're willing to accept. Just like everything else. Burger King pays people $8 fucking. Yeah, I mean, you in this situation, you have to. I don't want to say pray. I mean, but selling drugs is not a fucking moral thing in the first place. So it doesn't really. I can't. I'm not gonna give you some pretty, fucking flashy, nice, positive answer. You have to be a predator. You have to pray. You have to look for the people who are going to do the least, who are going to take the least amount of payment and do the most amount of work. If you fucking, if you get an ounce for fucking $150, so that's an ounce that's 28 grams. To, let's say, okay, if you make a fucking 100% profit, if you buy something for $100 and you sell it for $200, then you should, I mean, as far as having self-respect and respect for them, I mean, I'd say fucking like $30 or some shit. I don't know. Like, whatever the least amount that they would accept and do the most amount of work. You gotta look for the people who want to do this shit, the people who are gonna do the best job, the people who you can trust the most, of course. Should I give them tips? Yeah, definitely give them tips. They work for you. You have to train them. You have to teach them everything that they need to know. But as far as the confidence thing, you got stuff inside you that's special. Did you ever get over the weird feeling? Did you ever get over the weird feeling you got when you smoked weed? You talk about feeling weird and how you hear thoughts loudly. I actually did. I meditate. Ask me more questions too, Crucial, because that was more. I don't know why that caught me off guard. I don't know. I don't know fucking why. But my tip for you, if you feel fucking weird, it's like it's like acid, bro. Weed is weed can be a hallucinogen. Like if you there's hallucinogenic effects in weed. Yes, you're gonna hear shit. Sometimes you're gonna see shit. Am I talking about fucking you? It's not like acid, but it does have those same traits. So it weed basically puts your mind into a meditative state. That's what it. That's one of the traits of marijuana. So when you meditate, things are gonna pop up. If you meditate a lot, like me, you're gonna be sitting around. You're gonna have fucking flashbacks sometimes. You're gonna fucking remember things, and thoughts are gonna pop in your head from your past, and you don't know why the fuck they're popping up. You know that they're popping up because they are fucking seeds in your fucking mind. There's seeds in your mind, there's seeds in your soul, there's seeds in your body. So what you do is you meditate before you fucking smoke. And that might sound fucking goofy, and your homeboys might fucking get on you and shit, but just, I mean, you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. You're a fucking grown ass man, you're an adult. Even if you're not, you should get into the habit of not feeling like you need to explain yourself to people. Unless they're giving you money, but, or paying you. But, meditate before you smoke. Or if it's really that fucking bad, I will go to a therapist. Or actually, the guy that I mentioned, Aaron Doty, has a video on that, on basically how to get rid of these seeds. You fucking revisit the memory and do all these different meditative things. But I mean, everything can be fixed through meditation, bro. All problems can be fixed through focus and meditation. So if you're having these weird feelings and you start getting real dark and negative, meditate before you smoke. Or stop smoking and then wean yourself back on reintroduce yourself to marijuana at small amounts. All right, what's your next question? Have you ever grown weed, and do you have tips on growing it? I have Reggie. I just started to grow yesterday. Any advice on doing dropouts and all right. So yes, I've grown weed. I grew weed for about, I want to say 4 years, 4 or 5 years. The first thing that I want to tell you is for growing weed is that you need to know what you're getting. That is the most important aspect of growing weed. You need to know what type of weed it is. If you live in a part of America where you cannot just order seeds, or if you are look for the if you live in a place if you live in like Seattle or Denver or Cali, look for the dispensaries a that have a lot of reviews, and a lot of people are complaining that there's seeds in their marijuana. Because if you don't know what you're growing, you don't know how the fuck to treat this shit. You don't know, because there's some plants need the minimum amount of light. Some plants need to be grown in like a fucking 100 degrees. Some plants need to be grown at fucking freezing temperatures, or shit like that. But that is the most important. Second thing is the environment. You need to have a clean environment. Well, you don't really need fans like that. A lot of people prefer fans because it makes the stems stronger and the roots stronger and shit like that. But knowing your weed, having all the equipment, and being committed to it. If you want to grow weed fast, you can grow an ounce of marijuana in 3 months. You just have to make sure to flower it as soon as possible. Don't even, like, a lot of people put the light on the weed for fucking 12 to 24 hours. If you do that, it's gonna keep getting taller and bigger, and it's gonna flower when flower at, like, making the smokable shit. But it's gonna start producing buds when it feels like producing buds. So when you keep your weed in the dark from the jump at fucking 16 hours, when it's still in the soil, it will flower fast. But it won't be as tall. A fucking 6 foot plant will give you almost a pound. Good, you know. But I'd say it would be better if you got a whole bunch of little plants and flowered them as soon as possible, and know what you're dealing with, and have the environment set up, and everything else will fall into place. Like, weed is a really easy plant to grow if you're not overthinking it, because one of the reasons that it's illegal is because it grows every fucking where wildly without anybody's fucking help. All right. So the second thing is, if you have Reggie, just know that, just like the tip that I fucking gave people on confidence, there's really not a lot of weed that is fucking garbage. There's no such thing as mids. Like, there is, but there's really not. You just, the person either harvested the shit too early, or they didn't know how to grow what the fuck they had. If you got some fucking purple, if you got some purple weed and you're only used to growing Kush, it's not gonna come out right. It's gonna be fucking garbage. Especially if you fucking get frustrated with the shit and harvest it too early. And then, any advice on doing drop offs of drugs or meeting at a certain spot, always meet at different spots. And all these questions that you're asking, I have videos on these. So always meet at different spots. Don't do anything out your house. Just check out my playlist. Definitely check out my playlist. If you're doing, cause you sound like you're doing something big. So what you can do is, you can do the whole switch car thing. You can meet at a gas station, just like I heard Pimp C say. They used to switch cars. One would have the drugs in it, the other one would have the money in it, and then I guess they would drop their cars off somewhere later and pick them up. I don't fucking know. But you got 20 seeds right now. Now, first of all, don't grow your seeds all in one pot. Secondly, one magic little tip that I give people, well, I don't tell any fucking body. They call weed weed because weed is a weed. So, if you really want to practice, get a pot, grow something else in it first. Get like a mint plant or some shit like that, or get um like a watermelon seed or something like that. Grow it in the pot. Get a big tree pot. Grow it in the pot. Let it get a good healthy size, and then put the weed in the pot. And then the weed will start to leach off of the nutrients of that plant. Then you kill that plant, but bury it. It'll soak all the nutrients, and sometimes in certain situations that could be bad, but definitely experiment with that. Fucking know that you gotta study this shit, bro. And I made a video about this, but another thing that can help, you can keep, a guy had, I don't know where I read this article, but this guy said he had this one weed plant for 7 years, because he just cut all the stems off, left it bone dry, and then put it back on a 24-hour light schedule. And then it started growing again. And then when it started fucking flowering again, he put it back on the fucking 16-hour light schedule. Uh, how much light should you start giving it yet? 8 hours or less. It'll start growing, and then there's times where you can see what it does is when you give it the minimum light, it'll start flowering. But when you give it that light, it'll soak it in. It'll take advantage of it, just like how the human body, when you if you starve yourself, then you eat a lot, you binge, then your body will start to develop more fat cells and start building more fat. So thank you to Derbsky. Um, that's it. That's all my questions. I got sidetracked because I got bored of what the fuck I was talking about. Do I have an IG? My Instagram is at DNAYES4, the number 4. At DNAYES4. All my fucking social media sites are in the descriptions of all of my videos. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be in this one as well. Any more questions? Any more questions? Probably shouldn't be smoking a cigarette right now. I'm about to go and look for some beats and write. Get in the booth and shit. Mix some music and do all kind of AaroniMoses stuff. No questions? So what do you guys want to see me do? I'm definitely going to be doing giveaways as soon as I get my other camera. What do you have questions about? All these questions. Do I have any tips for somebody that wants to start making beats? Listen to different types of music. I don't make beats like that. I mean, I could, but I have to really do it for like 2 weeks for me to be comfortable enough to make a beat that I want to rap on or sell to somebody. But listen to all types of music. If you hate rap, that's the best music. The music that you hate the most, that's the best, or the music that makes you the most uncomfortable, that's the best music for you to be listening to when you start making beats. Listen to every type of music that you can. Start making beats. How I started making beats was I used a lot of samples, looped them, slowed them down, sped them up, distorted them, and I just put instruments in it. You can go on YouTube and find beats that are unfinished with no melodies or no percussion. Add your shit in there, play with them like that. Your friend wants you to move out to Greece. For you gotta find a program that's comfortable for you. I like Ableton. A lot of people like Fruity Loops. I don't like Fruity Loops because that's really just taking fucking. That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it sounds like. You take loops and you just piece them together. I feel like anybody can do that. I feel like that's cheating. I feel like that's not really making a beat. Like you could say the same shit for me. I don't have a band. I don't fucking get my own instruments and direct them and shit like that. But I'm not fucking looping somebody else's creation and putting other shit in there. I mean, it sounds like it could be fun. I've tried Fruity Loops probably twice, maybe 3 times, but it's just not my fucking, it's not my thing. Somebody said that it takes about 3 to 6 months to get really good at Fruity Loops. But I watched this video about this guy teaching people basically how to learn, and he said that you can be good at something. That whole 10,000 hour theory is having a full time job with no breaks for I think he said a year and a half. So But if what he says is you can get good at something, really good at something, with 45 minutes of practice every day for about, fuck, I think he said a month to 2 months. I definitely don't limit myself to one genre. That's ignorant. I try not to. It's just that my routines. I'm breaking those habits. I'm breaking those bad habits. So just find what I do is, I mean, I have a strong routine. I sit down and I put together a playlist of about an hour worth of music that I've never heard before. Genres I Google the most, I YouTube the most, random fucking phrases. Um, I like a lot of South African music. I like Dion Wood, MIA. So different. I listen to basically all alternative music, which is something that I should stop. But what I do is I um I YouTube the Billboard's top 100 songs and I listen to them. And I listen to songwriting lectures. Listen to this guy called Busy Works Beats. He's on YouTube. He's pretty awesome. He talks about everything. He gives life advice, all of that. But advice on making beats. Oh, my favorite group is 36 Mafia. If you didn't know, their record label was Hypnotized Minds. They call themselves Listen to Old 36 Mafia. Before sipping on some scissor, listen to like Mystic Styles and When the Smoke Clears, and listen to Smoked Out, Loped Out, their first album. Listen to their, listen to why they might have called themselves Hypnotized Minds. This is water out of a brisk bottle. My favorite fucking pink lemonade. This is a regular lemonade because I didn't tell her to get pink lemonade. But you definitely need to do studies on the brain waves, alpha, theta, beta, zeta, all of that. And what you need to do is you need to get brainwave. It's called brain entrainment music, or you can type in chakra music and download those and use them. Put them in the back because they set the mood for what people are going to fucking feel for your music. If you want them to feel excited, if you want them to feel sad, if you want them to feel sexual, use these beats. When you feel any emotion, your brain gives off a certain wave. And what this does is it duplicates if you're it duplicates the waves that your brain produces and it puts it in the music and puts it in the person's ear, and if they listen to it and if they receive it, then they feel that, or they know that that is the emotion that is supposed to be felt while listening to this music. I have a low ass battery. So this is going to be the last question that I'm answering, then I'm going to do my outro and be out. I buy an ounce for 210 of Dro, and I have two people who sell from me. I give them each 14 grams. Any idea on specials? Should I do maybe two for 25, or should I just sell G's eights and halves? Um, the whole thing with the whole two for 25 thing, I like that because it encourages people to sell more money, but I mean to spend more money. The idea of doing business is the person has a set idea of what they want to spend. Your job as a businessman, as a hustler, is to convince them to spend anywhere from double that to triple that. Your goal is to leave the person with only $5 left in their pockets. If they come to you with $100 and they only want to spend 25, do what you have to do to get them to spend $95 with you. So the 2 for 25 thing, the advice that I gave one of the homies this advice. So what I told him was, he gets the mid for super cheap. Okay, so if you want to maximize your profits, what you can do is, let's say you got that, you said you get an ounce, right? So you get an ounce of mid. He said he gets the mid for like $1, right? A gram. So what I told him was, whenever you sell you're selling this person a full gram, right? So what you do is you take 7 grams of the loud or the draw, put that in there, and then put the point three. I mean, not 7 grams. Put point seven of the loud in there, and then put point three of the mid in there. So that way, you're selling the mid with the loud, but instead of you selling the mid for $5 for a whole gram, you're selling it. I forgot the calculations that we did, but I broke it down crazy. You're sell Instead of you selling it 50 cents a point, so $5 for the whole gram, you're selling it $1 a point. And I mean, if it's not fucking trap or die like that, then that's not something that you need to do. Yeah, basically finessing them, you know. Uh, I may make a video on how to finesse when you sell weed. I don't really support the finesse, you know. Thank you, thank you. And people don't really trip like that. You know, they'll still come back, especially if you are doing 2 for the 15, 2 for the 25, 3 for the whatever the fuck, because they're gonna be like, hey, he gave me a deal, whatever. They'll still come back to you. It's not gonna leave a bad taste in your mouth usually. And right on time, the baby woke up. So I hope I answered all you guys' questions. It's AaroniMoses, We the Bang TV. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Get at me. Email, web address. Website. Website. Um, the easiest way to get at me is Facebook, website, and my email. And all that's going to be in the description. Alright, man. I'm the Bang, you the Bang, we the Bang together. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for watching. Love you guys. Peace.